The retro-adjacent insanity is in full effect in an upside-down world where the past holds the key to salvation. We find ourselves desperately clinging to the relics of a simpler time. Tools from tomorrow help us revive the bliss of yesterday, so we don't have to keep living in the mess we have made. The world's in chaos, but here's something that might bring us all together. Or at least let us play some damn games. Because what else do we have, really? These tech relics prove the nostalgia isn't dead. It's just loading. Enter the Ayaneo Pocket DMG. This specimen promises to revive the pleasures of yesterday with just enough power to keep you hooked all day long. The specimen under review today is the Moon White version with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. So my hands will be all over on this cheap date. It's sleek, it's smooth, but it might bulge out of your pocket and give bystanders the wrong idea. Dressed in nostalgic charm, this specimen packs enough muscle to keep you satisfied for hours. If that's the type of thing you're into, I know I am. And now I will be stepping off for a moment to dispose of a few retro bodies, things, while Luna will go over the specs of this specimen.
Let's break down what the Ayaneo Pocket DMG brings to the operating table. The 3.92-inch OLED screen offers a resolution of 1240 by 1080 with 500 nits of brightness, delivering sharp visuals and vivid colors. Perfect for those late-night gaming sessions when you need to see every pixel of your insanity. Powered by the Snapdragon G3X Gen 2 and 8-core ARM processor clocking up to 3.36 GHz for smooth performance. Like a double shot of espresso for your games. No crashes, just chaos. The Adreno A32 GPU, running at 1000 MHz, handles graphics with precision, ensuring your games look their best. With up to 16 GB of LPDDR5X RAM at 8533 megabits per second, the system delivers high-speed multitasking and responsiveness. Storage options go up to 1 TB, and the addition of microSD card support ensures you'll never run out of space for your library. Enough room to store your games, or, whatever else you might need to hide. The 6000 mAh battery supports 25 watts of quick charging, offering extended play sessions with minimal downtime. It's not enough to jumpstart your car, but it'll keep your specimen live and kicking for hours. Connectivity is covered with USB-C for charging and video output. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.3 provide fast and reliable wireless connections for gaming and streaming. Running on Android 13 with iOS, the interface is optimized for gaming, ensuring an intuitive and modern user experience.
Alright, I'm back. Miss me? Opening the box, the Ayaneo Pocket DMG greets you like a relic from the future disguised as the past. Included is a USB-C charging cable, as well as extra buttons for the shoulders and triggers in silver, and a quick start guide, because with the world going upside down, we all need a little guidance to keep us in order. The Pocket DMG's design immediately stands out for its blend of retro aesthetics and modern refinement. The OLED screen practically glows, delivering colors that are deeply saturated and resolution sharp enough to remind you that the past can still look better than the present. First thing to note is the quick button, which pulls up a menu from the right, showing intimate details on CPU and GPU usage, frame rate, and performance modes. Handy for keeping your specimen on its best behavior. Above that are the select and start buttons, conveniently placed for your right thumb. The face buttons have a deliberate click to them. The D-pad is noticeably larger and satisfyingly tactile. While the buttons are somewhat shallow, they are well positioned and responsive, just the way I like my specimens. The rear buttons are laid out in a slanted fashion, Resting your index fingers on both sides gives you easy access to both shoulder and trigger buttons. But keep in mind, all these buttons are digital, so if you need analog triggers for a game, you're out of luck. The analog stick on the left is compact, but offers a solid range of motion. It's Hall censored, providing smooth and precise control. The trackpad next to it doubles as the right stick or a mouse cursor, and pressing down on it functions as an R3 button. On the left side, the specimen has the speaker followed by these two buttons. The wheel here allows you to adjust the volume and even mute when you're pressing on it. Below that is a toggle switch, which lets you change how your specimen performs and behaves. On the right side, you have another speaker, as well as two additional function buttons, along with the power button, which is overly sensitive. I wish there are other things in life that get turned on that easily. It also serves as a sensor so you can unlock this specimen with your fingerprint. It doesn't help me in this case since I don't like to leave any evidence behind. And then below that is the cover for the micro SD card slot. And down south is a USB-C port that you can use to charge, as well as functions as a video out port. The plastic shell feels noticeably cheap, smooth to the touch, sure, but prone to fingerprints. And trust me, leaving fingerprints behind is a rookie mistake. The solution? Alright, now let's put this bad boy into action. This is where the Ayaneo Pocket DMG really flexes its muscles, handling games like it's got a chip on its shoulder. Thanks to the screen's nostalgic 8:7 aspect ratio, it's like staring into a warped mirror, the perfect throwback to childhood, just with better pixels and less parental scolding. First up, TurboGrafx 16. It looks like this guy here will bonk just about anything he sees. I guess he likes to give head? Here's the specimen showing off this blue spiky hedgehog. On speed! Next, we got the Super Nintendo playing this well-known game in all its 16-bit glory. Watch my guy here whip enemies into submission like how one establishes their dominance with a little discipline. Oh yeah! And then there's this Nintendo classic with our heroine gathering what I can only assume is wine. Hey, is she old enough to drink? Must be European. The screen's narrow aspect ratio shines for classic handhelds. Let's hop into this Game Boy classic. Check out Scrooge McDuck bouncing on that stick, constantly boinking up and down non-stop. He's got the form down, steady grip, confident thrust. Ooh! Now let's check out this gameplay in color. Oh, my guy's ready to blow. Walls, enemies, and perhaps something else. And here's our favorite blue dude again, all jacked up and getting slapped around. From the looks of it, he's got a real knack for balls. Moving on to the arcade and later home systems, this specimen doesn't miss a beat. Let's bash our way through the streets with my man Hagar. Nothing screams leadership quite like pile driving these punks into submission. If only modern mayors did the same. N64 goodness incoming with Bond, James Bond. When the world's not enough, maybe it's time to pull the trigger on something bigger. And my personal favorite for the PlayStation. It brings such peace and tranquility every time I play it. There's nothing more calming and therapeutic than the union of fair-minded and reasonable individuals settling their differences. Now, when you hit the PSP, the smallest screen creates an issue with the widescreen games, as black bars appear at the top and the bottom of the display. One thing to mention, I tried those moves with the ladies, and let's just say, they weren't as impressed as the game was. The Ayaneo Pocket DMG runs PS2 and Wii games with impressive upscaling, making those old graphics look almost too good. It's as if the system knows it's not supposed to look this clean, and it's getting a little too comfortable in its new skin. Just like this clean-cut gentleman here. Ooh, I love the grindhouse theme behind this game here. It's filled with action, great story, wicked music, and dark style. All this has me on the verge of dropping a four-letter word. The word is funk. Now let's dive into what I call the 3Ds of this specimen. First up, what I desire. The performance is impressive. This little specimen handles demanding games like a pro. Pair that with smooth, responsive controls, and it's hard not to appreciate how polished the gameplay feels. The OLED screen is another standout, with vibrant colors and sharp visuals that make every moment pop. And of course, the versatile I/O port gives you plenty of options to keep everything running seamlessly. But there are a few things that make my stomach churn. Time for my disgust. The price is steep, and as such, high-end models will make your wallet weep. That hypersensitive power button, a premature accident waiting to happen. The screen, while great, makes widescreen games look quite small. And the plastic shell give out cheap vibes. Now for the deciding factors, or what regular people would say, the game changers and potential ball breakers. The aspect ratio of the games you plan to play is crucial. Some will look great, others will make you question your life choices. For the control scheme, can you live without a physical right analog stick? If you really can't, then you can just keep your pants on. The OLED screen is a noticeable upgrade, but whether you need it depends on how severe your fetish is. RAM and storage capacity choices hinge on your gaming focus. 8 gigs is plenty for retro titles. And since it runs on Android, the setup can feel like murder.
So what's the verdict? The Ayaneo Pocket DMG might just be the perfect partner if it hits all the right notes. As mentioned before, there are a few shortcomings. But overall, performance is smooth and satisfying, handling every challenge with ease and leaving you wanting more. The layout feels intentional. Each button, each control, placed just right to make sure nothing is ever out of reach. The Pocket DMG doesn't just offer a way to play, it makes you feel like a player one. And that might just be everything you need to keep you satisfied. All night long.